Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
Greetings and salutations, Focus Up family. Welcome to the May 10, 2025 Happy Mama Day installment of the Focus Up Show. We thank you for tuning in with us live every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on YouTube and various other platforms. Catching up with us on replay, and we ask that you click that like, that subscribe, that bell, and share to support and maintain your weekly Focus Up fix. I am Mr. Nice Guy. Nice as in the word Saint spelled backwards. And today, my co-hosts are the lovely First Lady J. We got Brother Afro Agnostics.
We get the spotlight. Okay.
That's right. And we got Mr. Floyd X.
What up, what up, what up?
And the infamous El Poo.
In the house.
And we're missing a few people. Shout out to Brother Walk, who's taking care of some business, hosts the Sex Talk with Walk every Thursday at 9 p.m. And we're also missing Brother, our Minister of Information, Student X, who's star of Mutant Politics, who's, taking care of some business. And speaking of stars, me and Brother Afro Agnostic, we had the debut Objective Deconstruction last week that did pretty well, so so that's something that will fit in the cracks, and we got infamous El Poo star of Spin That Back, which is gonna be today. What are we gonna talk about, infamous El Poo?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about Big Pac and the come up of the South in hip hop.
That's what's up.
Like that.
So first things first in the morning, I would say, I saw this right here, top of the show to the AM. So let me give a first shout out to JC, the founding father of the Focus Up Network. So, salute to you, my brother.
Salute to Brother JC.
So what's going on with you, First Lady J?
Well, it's Mother's Day weekend, so I have a lot going on. Kicked off yesterday at one of my favorite spots in Long Beach with some of my friends and, started networking, met some people from the South. And, we just networked as women, Black women, and we turned that place out in a positive way. Met a young lady that recently, that she's engaged and her wedding is coming up, and there was so much in common. Networking is a wonderful thing, especially when sisters are doing it. So it just was a highlight to kick off my Mother's Day weekend.
Hey, salute to you, sister, and salute to the sisterhood. Y'all really do that. So, that's what's up.
Thank
Brother Afro Agnostics, what's going on out there in Georgia?
Yeah, I just noticed student next said F you. I hope he meant Focus Up, right? But,
Hey, I know I don't want 250 coming from me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sisters are the best organizers. I've been in a lot of organizations that really, I don't know, they're the best at organizing and getting things done. But I'm on a little house arrest. I'm on house arrest this weekend, man. I got to do some household duties and also, you got 8 days left of school, man. I'm so looking forward to this, man. It's like these students are driving. After the big testing, they just think mentally they checked out. School is over. So, but 8 days left. Yeah.
That's what's up. Mr. Floyd X, I see a Big Cuz saying, what up? What's happening with you, Big Cuz? You
What
are
up,
not
Big
blocked. But your Golden State Warriors are. So, yeah, that's what's going
Golden
on.
State Warriors. Last ones we got, last West Coast team in the game. Everybody go to state, right? No? Come on, man. You got to support West Coast. Okay. Well, everything cool with me, man. I got my LA hat, feeling kind of LA. I'm going to be out in LA next weekend for my nephew's graduation. So I'll be out there. My daughter, they going to the Kendrick Lamar concert, so she got me that PG Lang hat. Shout out to Kendrick Lamar and his record label. So, that's the plan.
Infamous El Poo, what it do?
Well, I'm blessed and happy to be here once again, but I'm very disappointed because I was planning on going on tour with Bobby Shmurda, but it got canceled because I sold more tickets than he did. So,
Yeah. Poor Bobby Shmurda. 10 tickets per city almost. That's what the tour motor claim.
That's jacked up. Again, now I don't know if he's the guy that really should be headlining the tour, considering you gotta understand he was a big flash in the pan. He was a hot star in the game when he dropped, but he was taken out of the game, going to jail real quick. So he really didn't get a chance to establish like a great discography as far as I know. I'm just saying it, he strikes me as a more person that will be part of a tour than the person to be heading the tour. But you know what? Maybe they didn't promote it right. I don't know. I don't want to say something, but yeah, 10 people, 10 tickets. That's tough, man.
Hey, what the problem was, right? You know what the problem was? He thought he was a hot nigga.
Ouch.
Yeah.
You about to say something, brother? Afro Agnostics?
No, I mean, I that's the only song I know. That's
what I'm saying. And it was hot. It really was. But I'm just saying that's not something you go out and tour on, especially something that happened that long ago. You know what I'm saying? You're now in the nostalgia lane, not a headline and tour type situation. But I ain't trying to kick a brother when he's down. So First Lady J, we talked about Lupus before. Well, first of all, let's get into Happy Mother's Day, okay? I've always said that to me, a mother is the greatest hero you got. I understand that the father is the one that protects you, but the mother is the one that goes through the first great struggle just to bring you here, and that's your nurturer. People see soldiers on the street, and they always say, thank you for your service, and I get that, and I respect that, but I'm just telling you, when I see a mother, especially on Mother's Day, I tell them, thank you for your service, because I'm just telling you, childbirth in itself is just, a whole lot. If it was up to men, I don't know how many children they'd be around, but, that's what's up. So First Lady, first of all, let me just say Happy Mother's Day to my mother, my superstar. I always say that she's the greatest celebrity on the planet to me. You know what I'm saying? So a shout out to, to my wife, who's the mother of my household, and, let me pass it off to you, First Lady J. Happy to the mother of the Focus Up show. What's going on with you, First Lady J?
The mother of the Focus Up show. Wow.
Thank you for the Mother's Day, Sean. I would like to say Happy Mother's Day to my mom as well. To all the women in my family, I would like to wish them a Happy Mother's Day. I just recently had the wonderful chance to watch my daughter give birth to her daughter exactly 3 weeks from today. So motherhood is a beautiful thing. But for me, I did understand the assignment, and I'm going to share this photo of who's deceased. And I'm all for mothers, but what I learned, grandmother is that extra. It's that grand. That's that big. You get your love and support from your mother, but without your grandmother, there would not be no mother. And a grandmother's love is greater than a mom's love. And I understand why grand in front of it. And being a grandmother of 7, I appreciate my grandmother because now I know how to be not just a mother, but a awesome grandmother. So Mother's Day to all the women in the world that birth and all the women in the world that play actively mother roles. It takes a village to raise children, and I salute all the moms.
Let me see if I got this clip.
Rodney Hinton.
That's wrong clip, my bad. I thought I had a clip of, I learned watching the Jimmy Kimmel show. He spoke about Mother's Day, and the lady that created Mother's Day, she spent the last years of her life trying to get it taken off of the calendar because she did not like the commercialization of Mother's Day. So I wish I would have had that video clip, but I don't got it up there. So, But salute to all the mothers, and for me personally, if you have your mother and she's still with you, enjoy and cherish her. Enjoy your mother. Be thankful that they brought you into this world. And if you had a good childhood, be extra thankful that your mother was there to protect you and bring you up. So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers.
All right. If no one else has anything else to say, you got something else to say before I flip on to the next one?
Yeah, I mean, just the lady name was Anna Jarvis that Floyd X was referring to. She did start the day, and then she ended up boycotting the day and trying to get it repealed once it was adopted because of the commercialization of it. And, she felt that it should be a personal holiday. And one of my best, I'm not gonna lie, this time I did Amazon my mom some flowers, but one of the best Mother's Day gifts I gave was I made this soundtrack back in the day. Back in the day when you would stamp the CD, and I had made the cover and everything. I had all the mama songs, from Tupac to Mama, with Boys II Men, and just a hose like 10 or 12 selective songs, man. And she just see my mom's response to it. I think that was priceless. So I think, we should think beyond the commercialization of the holiday.
Word.
All right. Can I say something about it? Happy Mother's Day. Happy Baby Mama's Day. And Afro, I wouldn't want to see your mama's reaction when you played Come On Sexy Mama on that CD for
This generation don't know nothing about mixtapes, but that was always from the heart. That was something special for my time. So that's what's up.
Come on, big cuz. Listen, man, we celebrating mothers. You can't bring in the fathers. We talk about them next month, man. We appreciate fathers and mothers every day. It should not be limited on the day selected by the so-called white man. Okay, we hear you, brother. Thanks for sharing.
It's an emphasis thing. Look, you can't throw out the baby with the bathwater. The fact that there's some celebration of mothers going on, you appreciate that and roll with that. Since we're talking about big mamas, let's talk about the big mama and the Big Apple. So I don't know if you've seen this. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen this statue. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have because it's been going viral for all the wrong reasons.
Let me put the right one up, the unskewed one. The unskewed one. Here we go. Big Mama in the Big Apple. Go ahead, nice guy. What you got to say about it?
So bottom line is the person that designed this statue. He made it a point. He's like, look, I want to just put an everyday person up there. And, this is only temporary. I think that this is going to last up until like sometime in June or something like that. But no explanation, just puts out there and just, sees people's reaction. And I'm just telling you, it really hurt my heart to hear some of the negative reactions, especially from Black people. You know what I'm saying? Because when I look at this picture, to me, I see a beautiful Black woman. That's what to me it's celebratory. She's not dressed all stupid or nothing like that. It's just to me, if you hate this picture, it's self-hate. You hate us. You know what I'm saying? So it's just it hurts me to even read about this stuff. I know you got some comments and stuff that people were putting up there, or is that the other? I think actually the comments. I'm sorry, that was for the other topic. Yeah. But First Lady J, you got something to say about this?
Yes. I'm disappointed at our people's reaction as well, especially women. I even had a friend clown her as well. I feel like be damned if we do, be damned if we don't. One of the things that I feel like people are mad because it's a full figure woman that's up there for one. If it was a little slim Barbie or, looking type of statue, I don't think it would be that big of an issue. I agree with you. I see a beautiful, strong-minded Black woman when I see that. They put it there for diversity, but it's like we're never happy. It's hard to please. There's always something, and that's sad. And it's also sad to hear what the men have to say. Once again, no protection.
Damn.
Afro agnostics. Damn. That's it to you, brother.
Oh, I didn't really, I caught it, but I didn't really read the comments, or I didn't think that it was a negative, pejorative type of reaction to it. But to me, that I think it has. If you added up the positive comments, and I haven't seen any of the comments, I'm sure they far outweigh the negative comments. And a lot of people who don't have a spouse, who don't have relationships, they have a lot of time to make these comments.
Wow.
Mr. Floyd X.
Hey, man. I spent all yesterday processing it. The initial look like, what the hell is that? I'm looking at it like, what they put that up there for? Why she look like that? Just a regular t-shirt, regular. I went through the whole motions, but by the end of the night, when we was doing the Friday Night Live last night, I said, you know what? I really like it because it just represents a normal sister. They didn't have her in the attitude stance like somebody would try to portray. It was just a regular looking lady with her hands on her hip, I thought it was beautiful at the end of the night. And I did my research last night. I'm like, okay, why did they use it oversized? And then according to the Google, the average weight of a non-Hispanic black woman is 188 pounds. So they used a proper
Damn.
character. So, I thought it was cool that they put it up here. But
That's
I
not
see,
good.
you said that's not good?
No, I got something else to say that's not good.
Go ahead.
It's an honest depiction, is what I'm trying to say. It's an honest depiction. It was nothing disrespectful. I could appreciate it. Go ahead, First Lady.
Okay, so I'm sorry. When you said that you were doing Friday Night Live, so I'm assuming you guys were drinking. So it seems like when the alcohol got in your system, it's like that's when you realize the beauty of the statue.
That's funny. It took time. I had to process it.
Oh, so what you said? So you said it was at the end of the club after a few drinks. That's who you went home with. Oh, now I get it. Yeah, that's kind of disrespectful.
The attire that she has on isn't like, it's not sexy attire. That's for sure. But you can tell from her. She has that Venus. What is it? The Venus. The sculpture. No, not Venus. The artifact. Venus. She has that shape. She has the motherly hips and everything. You can tell if she really wanted to put it on, it'd be a different shape.
What you saying? She got that good.
Let's see what Student X had to say about it. He got some comments. The statue is a caricature. They clowning the culture. The image is based on Mammy. Golly, that's not Mammy.
Well, that's the same problem I have with it. That's the same problem I have. Why they have to call her Big Mama?
No, we did that. They didn't call her that. We did
that. Not what
so you want to so blame for ladies.
Big Mama in the Big Apple. That's an original from me. Big Mama in the Big Apple. And I was speaking with this beautiful lady yesterday about it, and she didn't like the title. I said, I'm going to run with it anyway. She didn't like it. I said, what's a Big Mama? It's not an offensive term to me. When people say Big Mama, I know it means mainly grandmas and older, but I like the term. And
or you mean a big girl, or you mean big girl. Yeah, you know
big
that.
Girl? Okay. But see, one more point on this thing. I was like, nobody says nothing about that big-ass statue on Ellis Island, right? Just posted out there. Nobody got no complaints about that big thing. Why they put a 10-foot compared to a 500-foot, whatever that thing is. Right?
Did you know what that statue actually symbolizes, though?
What?
Slavery.
The Statue of Liberty?
Yes, Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, she's got chains
on her
feet.
on her feet, brother.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is a black. It's alleged to be. I mean, it is a black woman. It's supposed to.
I think they had changed her nose too because it was a black nose on there. I think originally. Anyway, that was a gift from France.
Yeah.
For them abolishing slavery out here. So it does mean something though, bro. And a whole lot of people got a lot to say about that. That's why they got it at the bottom of the feet chains, and they never speak on it too. Go do your history.
Another thing by the end of the show, I said my plan is to make a trip to New York just so I could take a picture next to this statue. I want to take a picture next to Big Mama.
Better get there by June.
By June?
Yeah, because it's only temporary. He's doing like pieces. So he's gonna put up something, take some down, put something up. But
I know El Poo can AI it,
That's how he can put you there.
Trump said he's gonna take it down next week.
Where's her Focuz? What was her Focuz up jersey?
I know. I should have put it on there.
And you know what she kind of reminds me of, though, lightweight though, when I first is Lady of Rage, a little bit. Okay. She just had to
yeah. I can see that.
So that happens. Like I said, I mean, to me, she's got a pretty shape. She's got a pretty everything about that statue. I respect and dig. I'm just saying it hurts me, and just to see what Brother Charles X said. I mean, that's just.
But the Mammy statement, the Mammy comment.
Mammy, that's just Yeah. I mean, that's just ridiculous. But First Lady J, we talked about lupus awareness last week, but today is actually, I think, Lupus Awareness Day.
First of all, who disrespected lupus on the screen?
Who did that? Yeah, who did that? Somebody. So it's a
Mr.
you,
Nice
right?
Guy, Mr. Nice Guy.
What you talking about? Is that how you spell it?
That's how you spell
Is
lupus.
it and now is it Lupus Day or Lupus Awareness Day?
Today is World Lupus Day. May
Well,
10th is World Lupus Day. And just to elaborate, I won't go into detail like I did last week. You know, we all know that this is Lupus Awareness Month, but on May 10th is World Lupus Day. And the purpose of World Lupus Day, the Lupus Foundation would like for people to wear purple to show support for lupus awareness. Also, they were like, you know, the ways that you can get involved is share on social media, make donations because there's no cure for lupus, just like cancer, but there are treatments for lupus. You can also do fundraisers to help raise money as well. They ask that you like do lunches, get involved with certain organizations. This is something that was decided to do in America by the Lupus Foundation to just make awareness out there. You know, I woke up this morning excited because yesterday I challenged my family to wear purple to support me in honor of lupus. And the first message I had awakened to with purple was my sister, and she had her purple on from head to toe. My daughter sent me a picture of my new granddaughter and her purple. And today, all my children will be here, and my son is the first year he'll be home from college, and that's the plan to barbecue and wear purple and support me for lupus.
Beautiful, beautiful.
That's absolutely beautiful.
I did a little cursory
nothing's wrong with
research
that.
too. I'm sorry, between the last time I didn't know, and maybe First Lady, you can confirm that 90% of people who have lupus are women. Is that correct?
Majority are women, yes, between the age of 14 and 44. Black women, white women, but yes, it hits on women more. And you know, lupus can be fatal if not treated correctly. It's not as bad as it was back in the day, but I've lost a cousin 2 years ago, not even 35, to lupus. I've lost a friend, not even 40, to lupus. I have a cousin who's on dialysis, not even 40, from lupus. So it's um it's a hard to treat disease, and you know, it's like your body is fighting against itself. And
Yeah.
you know, when I was first diagnosed with lupus, I had a relative that thought that I was joking because I could be fine 1 minute and then aching and bothered on the next minute. It wasn't until that relative got fibromyalgia till she respected as lupus patients.
And I wonder for years and decades, sickle cell was underfunded because it was considered a black disease. So I wonder how well funded lupus is, considering it's literally a women's disease. Primarily, and black women and Hispanic women, as I did my cursory research, are the primary victims of it. So I wonder how well it's funded. I wonder if it's probably is underfunded, the research and stuff.
And it probably got cut under the current administration. But let's that having been said, let's talk about something that I suppose is probably a little bit more positive around the world. There's been a new Pope elected or selected, I guess agreed to, but Pope Leo the 14th, not that guy. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, exactly. So he's from North America. So you know that Trump is going to have to settle for the fact that some American is the Pope. But it was a very quick selection, and they got to it. You know, we just had this big movie Conclave that really sort of broke down the whole process, and their process was a very quick one. But at the end of the day, you know, this is a person that's revered and respected by many people, and despite whether I may feel as far as religiously or stuff like that, I mean, the dude comes off as a sincere, humble, you know, caring person. So congratulations to him and congratulations to them.
And in the words of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, let's see what's up under that skirt.
Ouch. Speaking of the Honorable Lewis Farrakhan.
That was solid. Yeah.
Oh, Colin said that. My bad. I retract my statement then.
But speaking of the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, yes, go ahead, speak on this, my brother.
The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan turns 92 this year. I forget the exact date, but tomorrow they will be having a lecture or a teaching. I don't think it's going to be the minister speaking, but I think it's going to be our brother speaking. I forget the brother's name, but salute to the brother Ishmael Muhammad. Yes, sir. So salute to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, 92 years, been serving in the nation at least for 70 years, been fighting for the cause of black people here in America. Salute to that brother, the many lives that he has touched and the many lives that he have improved as far as people who fall into the nation, and because listening to him clean up their act and do right in the name of the religion that they believe in. So salute to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan for giving that. Happy 92nd birth anniversary, brother.
And that's 92 years of not being what?
Punk.
That's
No
what's up.
punk. Yep.
All right, so now that's some good news, and now we're gonna sashay over to some bad news. So now we're hearing about the Motown legend Smokey Robinson in this assault accusation situation. And this is people over the span of a great distance of time. People have quit based on the things that they're accusing them of, and I guess there was some type of callback for them to able to even still be to capture this, but he's denying it, and we don't know what's going to happen until it gets in court. So I really don't like to speak on this type of thing. I know that First Lady J, you put out something out there, you're asking us, what do we think? And I would like to hear Mr. Floyd X say what he thinks.
As far as the Smokey Robinson situation?
The Robinson situation.
I mean, to me, I hate the idea that people can make these accusations and you automatically got a bad mark on your name, true or not. So, I mean, I don't want to speculate and be like, he probably did it. He probably didn't. I mean, he was accused of being assault. Hopefully that the court finds the truth. And if he's not guilty, that he could continue on and die a legend in the black music culture and so much he done for the music culture. So, hopefully he's not guilty. That's why I'll leave it right there.
That was the correct response, Mr. Floyd X. I got nothing else to say about that. Anybody else feel need to say anything about the First Lady J? You got something to say about this?
You guys know me, but my question is always the same. If these accusations are so true, sometimes they are, sometimes they are not. Why wait so long to open your mouth and say something? Just why? That's the part that I don't understand. I'm like, feel like you guys feel like his life is getting short now. He have less years ahead of him than he does behind him. So now you want to come out and try to get paid before, he's gone. I get so baffled by that. Like, why wait years?
Now you're going to make me have to comment on it. Because you got to understand that, a lot of people don't come up forward with stuff out of fear, out of embarrassment. You know what I'm saying? When you're dealing with people in power and you're a person outside of power, there's all type of reasons why a person doesn't get around to that. I would love for humanity to just remove that stigma as to the time, distance, and stuff like that. Because like I said this before in a previous show, I've dealt with a lot of females over the course of my lifetime, and so many of them confided to me that at one time or not, they were either molested or raped. They've never prosecuted those people. They've never done none of that stuff to this day. So I'm just saying that terrible things happen and people don't speak on it for whatever reasons that they don't speak on it. At the end of the day, we got to just let the facts speak for it and see what's up. You got something to say about this, brother Afro Agnostic?
Yeah, if you can show that comment, if that's possible, because Student X made a comment. He said something that he must have been taking Afro's counsel. Still,
no, he may not have taken Afro's counsel and still got caught up.
Okay, I want to respond to that, but I'm saying Smokey Robinson, the accusation, it fits the script, the usual script. It may be Shannon Sharp last week. It'll be Smokey Robinson this week. It'll be Another R. Kelly, P. Diddy. I mean, it goes on and on. We see this repeated pattern. Now, in this particular case, I do have to agree with Floyd and First Lady. I mean, just so long. I do understand that the housekeepers were immigrants. I don't know their competency in the law. I don't know their status when they started working. So these things, and along with shame and cultural other barriers, it does prevent people from going to the law. And we don't know what the extent of the sexual accusations were. It could have been, what do you call it, grapple? You feel on someone.
Mhm.
I mean, he's an older guy. It could have been a hump. It could have been, I don't know what it was
Damn.
exactly. I think there were things going on that were consensual. I would say this, though, this is on the side note, those recent videos of him on stage, I don't think they do him any service. But I don't know, it's interesting. Like, why do you go to work? I mean, I think one lady from 2015 or 16 all the way to the 2022 or 2024, that's a long time. I mean, but I would need more evidence to reach something conclusive. I'm not nay or yay.
Yeah, that's what it is. You got to wait to the evidence. You got something to say about this infamous El Poo?
Yeah, I got something to say. Now, if this was 1985, maybe I could have believed it when he was hanging out with Rick James, making music, earned his name Smokey. You know what I'm saying? All that. But this is 40 years later. This man is in his 80s. I don't see this. I just don't see it. You might as well just be robbing him. I mean, come
But
on.
have you seen him on stage?
Yeah, I seen him on stage. It's like, what is he gonna do on stage? It's like, dude, get in your wheelchair and sit down somewhere. He's still
He
trying
seems
to
very
drive.
sexually active. If you look at him gyrating on stage, he looks very sexually active and ready. I mean, he's on stage like long length of time gyrating and like.
And you got to think about it. These people were ex superstars, so they were getting exposure to opportunities that regular folks, we're not coming down from what they're coming down from. So I think that leads to potential predatory behavior. Not to mention the fact you're talking about something that's in your house. You being lustful. We know that people in the house molest children, molest nephews, nieces. All availability is one of the issues. I mean, not to be dragging Schwarzenegger through the mud, but I mean, what happened with him and his housekeeper. You know what I'm saying? He's married to Shriver, but he's got this kid with the housekeeper, because at the end of the day, that's what you got access to. She wasn't necessarily looking like Beyonce or nothing like that, but she was available.
I give him the same benefit of the doubt that people give Donald Trump.
Nah, he gets way more benefit of doubt than that. But yeah,
I'm just saying. I'm just comparing it though. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, you know what? Speaking out on that one situation, we talk about him. This whole nother situation is coming up with B. Scott.
What?
And this is So Byron Scott has an assault accusation. Not only this goes back to like the 80s. Like this goes back a long time. And basically the reason why it got resurrected now, because remember they did that, opened up that window that you can kind of go after people. So this case has actually been going on for 3 years, but his name was sealed. And something happened recently that basically unsealed his name. But you might look at this and think, oh, here goes another one of these sort of like power grab or money grabs or whatever, stuff like that. He actually says it was a consensual relationship. He just didn't know that she was underage. He thought she was 18, and it turns out that she was 16. I don't think he can beat this one. It's messy. Yeah, it's messy.
And this goes back to what I was saying earlier. If it's not Shannon Sharp, it's Byron Scott. If it's not, again, the issue is men with power and how they exercise or how they use that power to abuse and control women. It's just a constant theme over and over and over. And Smokey Robinson is not an anomaly when you consider other Motown stars accused of the exact same thing. But wow, this is Byron Scott.
I think, Mr. Brother Afro, I think it's two sides to that sword. You saying that they got power, so they use and abuse it. The other side is that they have influence and people give them extra perks. Not to say that raping is a thing, but when you walk into a hotel and all these women jumping through you, to you, trying to sleep with you, it's like that. It could get confusing for a young man. and interacting with these women thinking, oh, they want to have sex, and then you go have sex with them and then they turn it around on you. It can go, it's both ways to it. It's not, I don't think it's just that men who, I got all this power, so let me start abusing women. It's like they give confusing signals. The ones
when
that.
When it comes to abuse, you have to go on who has the power. It's kind of like, because the same argument you use is the same argument that many pedophiles use. They say that the underage person came on to them first. I have an ex-friend of mine, I call him an ex-friend I grew up with, same scenario. He argued that his girlfriend's niece came on to him. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? She's 14 years old. You 38. So I have students that come with me. As a person in authority, I know what that is. I'm mature. I'm a grown man. I know how to deal with that. That's what they're supposed to do. They're intrigued by men with power, anything with power. Of course, that's a given.
Let me ask you this. Who was the victim? Let's say that he thought she was 18 years old. So he's having a relationship with a grown adult that he thought was 18. And then he finds out she's 16. Who's the victim?
She's the victim because she's underage, number one. Number two, you got to find, you don't have a defense that I don't know, and I think he was even married at the time. So the bottom line is you can't, you know what I'm saying? You got to be on your P's and Q's. It's your responsibility to know if you have sex with somebody.
Hold on, bro. It was at a high school.
What you mean is that high school?
It was at a high school, literally.
In the locker room. In the locker room. In the locker room of a high school.
She was a high school student at the school.
Okay.
He thought she was 18 in high school.
That's a different angle to it. I didn't know it was at a high school. That's a different angle to it.
Exactly.
Hey, I'm sorry I'm slow on this, brother, but here you go. So that's the first lady. Jay, you got something to say about this?
In the room.
Yeah, it's just sad, and listening to what El Pooh added to the situation in high school, as the student is the victim. I don't care, especially if she was a student, 18, whether she lied about her age or whatnot. You don't have no business messing with a student, period.
Mr. Floyd X, you got to understand, as an older person who has like stuff like a car and stuff like that, I have an unfair advantage if I were to make a move on a high schooler and stuff like that. That's why when Snoop Dogg talks about going at the high schools, yelling at the young misses, they're so easy to manipulate that, you know what I'm saying. The bird needs to be on the adult to be an adult. I understand that these kids don't know.
My advice to these young men out there, get you a cougar, find you an old lady, and hopefully she won't throw no charges at you. But just to be safe, don't get caught up with the young pretty things and be like Belle Biv DeVoe. Backstage, underage, hey, want to do however that thing goes.
I was going to say that too. It's so prevalent in the culture, in the man-dominated culture. That's why Shannon Sharp goes after the younger women, because they're easier to manipulate and easier to control. Like LL talked about it.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that statement.
He was 20-something years old talking about going to the high school in his song, openly, explicitly, to pick up women. And the mention of poison, you know who wrote that lyric too? That was Coogee Rap. You know what I'm saying? Okay. But it wasn't even an issue to be like that was even brought up when the songs came out, because that's how normal and prevalent it is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the stuff. So before we go to the break, sorry, what were you about to say after Agnes?
No, real quick. Y'all remember Chester the Molester, the editorial in Hustler magazine?
Yes. Well, I remember that. I didn't know it was actually tied to something specific, but yeah.
That was a 13-year editorial in Hustler magazine, Chester the Molester.
Wow.
And it was celebrated. He was a pedophile. He actually was convicted later as a pedophile.
Wow.
I never knew where that title came from, Chester the Molester.
Yeah, I just knew the title. I just thought it was like a, like Freddie Kickstand. Is that somebody too?
La Brea Trucking for all of your trucking needs. East Coast to West Coast, West Coast to East Coast, North to South, South to West. Call the brother. Y'all saw the number at the end. If you need something towed or delivered, call the brother. La Brea Trucking. See the LA? That's for La Brea Trucking.
That is gobealive.org. Go get you some of that black honey. And if you want to get it in person, you can go to the Petty Vice in Venice, or you can take yourself to the Afro City Marketplace at the Crenshaw Mall.
Yo, Pooh, don't come here switching up shit on us, man. Come on, man.
Turn up the dial, it's 10:30. Be back. Spin that back show, all the classics on track. From 79 to 99, we're crossing the gap. Album reviews, little known facts, hip hop intact. Saturday mornings, dive into the history. Samples and stories, old school mysteries.
Spin that back show today, 10:30, right after this show. We're going to talk about Big Pac and the come up of the South in hip hop. And check this out. If y'all looking at the show right now, hit that like button. Don't cost you nothing.
You threw me off track. I got to find my way.
He's blaming you, El Pooh. Lupus Awareness, World Lupus Day. That's what's up. I'm assuming you're not still trying to just be playing me. Dang, you really threw him off. It's the Nice Guy Show. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Blame El Pooh. He switched it up. Man. All right, let's get to it, man. Let's get to the main topic everybody came here to see.
That's
life
right.
for a life. Come on, man. We're going to talk about it. Everybody got their strong opinions on this. This is the picture that's going around. People is making this guy a hero. Other people, he's just a murderer. A life for a life. The story is his son was was killed by the police. His son was in a stolen car, and the police was chasing him. Him and a friend, they jumped out of the stolen car. 4 people.
It was 4 people,
Okay,
and he was one of them.
They jumped out of the stolen car and running, and you know the camera, the police body cam. He got a gun. He got a gun. Pop, 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 pop. The young brother's gone, 18 years old. And then the next day, the father and the family was at the police station. They was able to review the video footage, the body cam footage, and upon leaving, the father was leaving the police station, and he seen a sheriff. A sheriff was controlling the traffic at a graduation, college time, graduation time. He was a retired. He just retired, getting ready to enjoy retirement, but he was getting some extra hours in. He was guarding the traffic at a graduation, and this brother mowed him down and killed that officer. Where we at with it? What you want to say about it, nice guy?
Well, you know what? Before we talk about it, could you play that first clip of him like walking into the police station, or walking into not the police station, but walking into the courtroom? Right. This is going to be an iconic video, maybe for the wrong reasons, but
It sounds like he's Ryan Hinton forever, or he gone forever. I think he was speaking about his son, saying to the police, looking him in the face, saying he gone forever.
Now this was some gangster stuff, because you about to be locked up. You're already a cop killer, so you're already gonna get terrible treatment in there. But just the mad dog, and considering who's capturing you, you know what I'm saying? It's some super gangster stuff. But there's some problems about this. I mean, if when I first heard the story, I thought maybe, well, you know what? Play the other video. I'll give you my opinion on it, but this video does such a better job of explaining it. He's gonna speak on it. I ain't gonna have to say nothing about it.
Salute to Schoon TV. That's the one responsible for this.
Rodney Hinton Jr., age 38, from the Cincinnati area, Hamilton County, killed a retired deputy sheriff as some kind of revenge killing retribution for the murder of his son the day prior. You know, at first I thought that he saw the cop who killed his son and mowed him down with his vehicle. And you know, I was a little conflicted about it because I'm like, okay, I'm not saying it's justified, but then when I realized that the deputy sheriff was retired and it was a cop who killed his son, it means he saw anybody in law enforcement and he took it out on them. And you know, I feel for his loss, but that's not right. What's making it worse is that there are people on social media who wouldn't kill a fly. They're celebrating his poor decision making.
Salute to Schoon TV.
Amen. That's my take on it. First Lady J, you got something to say about this?
Yes. You know, hurtful people do hurtful things. And so that was a father that was hurt, and he was reactive instead of proactive because he's hurt. And I don't agree with his actions. And I don't know what I would do if I was in that situation. You know, people snap. And he probably feel like they have taken away all that he have. I don't know if this man have other children or whatnot, you know, looking at his walk and while he walking, looking at them, like you said, looking like he hard and he's going to prison and he killed a cop and they're going to treat him bad. He probably feel like, what else does he have to lose? It's sad because now family members lose out twice. They lost a child and now he's going to be locked up probably for life. You know, I unfortunately don't see him getting out, but hurtful people do hurtful things without even thinking twice about it, you know. And so he just have to reap the consequences, unfortunately.
Before I pass this off to you, Afro Agnostics, Big Cuz made a very poignant point. And really, that's the other thing that I would comment on. A stolen car is not worthy of death. Having a gun is not worthy of death. In this country, we always talk about having gun rights. You can say whether a kid should have a gun or not, but if he wasn't firing that gun at that cop, he was running away from that cop, none of that was a death sentence. So you got to understand that now you're dealing with his wrongful life, and obviously the terrible thing that happened to that sheriff that had nothing to do with that, that's like the chickens coming home to roost. You got to understand there's repercussions of things, of bad things that happen. It shouldn't have happened. But if that one thing wouldn't have happened, this other thing shouldn't have happened. We need to make sure neither of those things happen. But Brother Afro Agnostics, go ahead.
Real quick, let's get a Student X comment in there. It's ridiculous, emotional, irrational, and not even the right situation to celebrate. This was not gangster, but foolish. A retired police who had nothing to do with his son's death. Okay, go ahead, Brother Afro.
What I was saying was gangster was looking him in the face. I wasn't talking about killing that was cowardly, you know, killing someone who ain't had nothing to do with nothing. But Brother Afro Agnostics, go ahead.
I agree with you 100. You know, a black person, a black man, woman, child is killed every 28 hours by a police officer or a white vigilante or a white security officer every day in the United, or every 28 hours in the United States. So you're going to have some fallout, some negative consequences to that. And I think this is just one example. From a legal point of view, I think this was a case of black rage. I think he had a psychotic, this is my assumption, he had a psychotic breakdown. You know, it was unplanned. It was just, as Student X said, it was irrational. But, you know, we can act irrational when we experience trauma and things happen to us, like what happened to his son. Also want to bring up, you know, they brought in Kyle Rittenhouse, the Dylan Roof dude, you know, all these dudes, some people who had arms on them, Timothy McVeigh, you know, and they were able to subdue them without killing them. And, you know, just because you have a gun or you're in a stolen car, that doesn't give someone the right to execute you on the street. But I'm interested also in this GoFundMe and how they shut that down, the police fraternity of Ohio and the sheriffs and stuff like that, on the basis that if you are accused of a violent crime, you can't raise money. I think that's really biased towards poor people, black people in particular, who are the victims in in different legal entanglements. And it just because they can't afford, where's the presumption of innocence here? I think he does have a good case, as he had a mental breakdown. I think that is the argument. If I was his lawyer, the argument that I would use. And also, just we don't know what the police were saying to him to provoke him to show those mannerisms and those gestures. From my understanding, they packed the courthouse so his family could come in and support him. So, and I'm sure they were saying things to him during the whole case and intimidating him and looking and giving him mean mugs. So I think what you saw was his response to that.
And real quick, they got a GoFundMe. From what I understand, it was 2. This one I believe is for the son that was killed by the cops. So they raised $75,000 for him. So if you want to go help support, hit that up, the GoFundMe. Then,
the GoFundMe that was about the father's defense. That's the one that got shut down. But the one that's about basically supporting the loss of the son, that one seems to still be going on.
Also, the potential donors, they switched it to, I think, there's another crowdfunding, Go Send Me or something like that. They switched it over because they returned funds from GoFundMe. So there's another one that is still receiving funds now.
Gotcha. Infamous Elpo, you got something to say about this one?
Well, if I was in this situation, I'll just have to turn to Donald Trump. What would I do?
Don't know.
That's what's up.
Listen, that sheriff is responsible for the loss of 2 lives for being overzealous.
That cop, it was a cop. It wasn't a sheriff that shot the son. But yeah.
And also, those people, there were some people released earlier this year, right, that were involved in activities that resulted in the death of police officers too, right? January 6th people, wasn't that?
Oh yeah, exactly. That really did happen. That's a fact.
I see a double standard there. Yeah.
But let's look at some of the comments that I pulled that people were saying about this situation. Black people celebrating the death of someone who had nothing to do with the situation is the reason racism is still alive.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, racism. Exactly, racism is the reason why racism is still alive. I said I wasn't letting that comment slide. Go ahead.
Please don't, man. That's ridiculous.
Now this was going around. I had to find out what this was. They were like making memes with the brother. It had ACOB, and I think that's the word. All cops are bastards or whatever. That's what they say. So when y'all see that ACOB next to this brother picture, that's what it means. Because I was like, what the hell is that? But then they got Black Dad. Black Dad in Ohio delivers justice to gang that murdered his son. There, I fixed it for you. So I'm assuming he fixed it.
I don't like how they try to initiate this thing on black people. I mean, there is a sense of justice, but this happens with every group. You saw the same thing with Luigi. He had some of that Luigi energy. I remember one of my students' brother, LaBelle Mixon, you can look this up in Oakland, on the first day of January 2008, he killed 4 Oakland police officers. And they right there on the 73rd and MacArthur, they had a wreath to the fallen police officers. Man, the black people in the community tore that shit down every time they put it up. There was
I remember that situation, man. I looked at him like a hero. Yeah, I remember that clearly.
Hey, man, it's just the reality, man. That's what it is. I mean, you can't. Go ahead.
And I say, and when we talk about when we talk about not being race, I mean, that to me, that's a natural transition to this situation, because this is a situation where the cops are black. You know what I'm saying? So all the cops were black. They went. I mean, first of all, they all got fired for doing the wrong thing, and this wrong thing that they did led to the death of someone. And for all of them to basically, well, I shouldn't say all of them. The 2 of them pled guilty, but the 3 that didn't plead guilty, they got off for whatever reason, and again, I wasn't at the trial, so I really don't want to speak on that. I'm just saying that, they got off of the state charges. Everybody got convicted on the federal charges, so everybody still exposed to some jail time. But these dudes were like celebrating. They were laughing about that. We covered this on the Focus Up show. You go find that episode. I mean, we played the video. I mean, it was so much absolute disrespect for another human life that. This is why you have this fallout. So again, it's not a race thing. It's the fact that cops need to be held accountable.
Let me put this out here. Let know what y'all think about it. Like, I disagree wholeheartedly. Like, taking away an innocent life, if because your son was killed by a cop, you kill a sheriff, a whole different organization or whatever. I agree or that is bad. But it is of my opinion that if every time a cop killed a black person and another black person killed a cop, I believe that it will cause these cops to second guess shooting a black person, whatever reason. How do y'all feel about that?
It'll justify them killing us. That's what that would do right there. And they got more power than we do, brother. It's a whole lot more. Well, they have a whole lot more force than we do as a collective.
Well, they put it this way: they have a lot more way to be shielded from the fallout from it than we do. That's for darn sure. Technically, we outnumber them. There's only a minority of people that are actually cops. But if the system basically gives them a free pass, it doesn't give us a free pass. That imbalance, should motivate us to not do anything like that. Now, of course, I know Mr. Floyd X was saying to do that. I mean, there should be repercussions. As I said, this is an ugly thing that happened, but there is something that's going to come out of it to show that, look, this was a byproduct of something that shouldn't have happened. We need to basically get around both of these things happen. This ain't just all about
that alone wouldn't, but the frequency of like revenge killings do have an impact. They do have a psychological impact. They do make people think twice, just like defunding the police as well. So I think it, not promoting it, but yeah, definitely it will have an impact. It would discourage, it's a good deterrence.
The only people that talk about correcting the situation are the people that's victimized. Isn't that something?
Mm-hmm. Man, I get that.
So, and that having been said, let's talk about this Ras Baraka, Newark mayor situation. Do you have the details of this, brother Alpha Agnostic?
I don't have it. I know that he is the famed mayor, a people's mayor, son of the great Amiri Baraka, and he was arrested along with I think 3 congressmen, and they were simply. I understand that they had this was an appointment to investigate the reopening of the detention center there in Newark, and upon trying to get in or prevent from getting in. And then they were accused of obstructing the entrance, and they were arrested. I mean, this is crazy to me. This is fascism is here. It's not even like it's here that you arrest congressmen, mayors of the city. ICE is doing this.
Yeah. So
and judges too.
And judges too.
That was a messy situation. Situation, but yeah, that's some craziness. So. We got a little bit of time left. You know what? Hey, Mr. Floyd X, let's talk about this one right here.
No King's Day. When I heard about this, I was jubilant and excited. Like, hell yeah. Because you know that Mr. Donald Trump, like Willie D say, your president, he is planning on having a military parade on his birthday, which just happens to coincide with Flag Day, which is June 14th. So he planned on having tanks and the military parade down. I think it's in Washington, D.C., the same way you see it, like when you see the North Korea have their military parades and China do military parades. So I think he want to go along that same line of those type of dictators and have a parade. So the organization that's called I forget the organization name, but they're having a anti-Trump birthday celebration called No King's Day, where they'll be protesting to bring attention away from it. And that's going to be June 14th, 2025, No King's Day, a nationwide day of defiance. No king, no Donald Trump. Protest Trump and his desire to be a dictator and a forever king.
Yeah, and I believe the organization is called Indivisible.
Indivisible, okay. So, I mean, if you want to prepare and mobilize.
Because that's my mom's birthday, so I'm especially pissed off at that. And the price of this parade, this military, fanfare is estimated to cost $25 to $40 million. This is the same administration that's trying to so supposedly trying to fight waste and corruption and fraud and spending. They're willing to spend $25-40 million for a military parade, millions of dollars, I think hundreds of millions of dollars to reopen Alcatraz, and willing to increase the budget of the Department of Defense to $1.something trillion. But we fighting, we fighting Section 8, which is one of the other topics. We're fighting
exactly.
We got to get rid of all this, it's just austerity under disguise.
Hey, but Brother Afro, since I got you on full screen, why don't you take a minute and let us know who you got behind you?
Oh, okay. So real quick, of course, that's Malcolm. Then I have Queen Mother Moore. She was a leader of the Black constituency of the CPUSA, Communist Party USA. And also she was a leader in Marcus Garvey's movement, the Universal Negro Improvement Association. Next, you have Martin Delany, the father of Black nationalism. We often attribute Africa, Home for the Africans at Home and Abroad to Marcus Garvey, but it was Martin Delany who made that, made that statement before the Civil War. And lastly, you got Robert F. Williams. He wrote the book Negro with Guns. He was a part of the NAACP Monroe chapter. He stood up against the Klan. He popped back, and he had a free radio station in Cuba where they gave him political asylum in Cuba and China under Mao Zedong. So those are my example of my Black political leaders. Left-wing Black radical leadership.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks to everybody for watching the show. We greatly appreciate all of you. We hope that we bring you some good information with a little bit of entertainment and help you get through your day on this beautiful Saturday. Hope y'all go out and enjoy this beautiful day and have a wonderful Mother's Day with your mother tomorrow. Salute, and we are out.